So today I want to show you how to hold space for your client when they come in for a professional session with you. So if you refer to the session structure outline that I gave you in this lesson, go ahead and welcome your client, get them on in, give them a cup of tea, and have them sit down in your chair. Now hopefully you have two chairs, and if you kind of notice, it might be hard to see in the video, my chairs are not directly head on with each other. They're slightly angled so that I'm facing this way and my client's slightly off and facing that way. We are not head on with each other. It can be a little bit intense if you are facing each other square on, especially if your client's having a little bit of an emotional release. You don't want to be the recipient of that directly, energetically. And also, you're not here to directly interact with your client and discuss things and share your experiences kind of one-on-one. You are here to facilitate the space for them to reveal things to you. And that means, if you look at the Power of Presence document, that means you're not sharing your opinion or your personal experience or commiserating with them. You are simply being. Just like in meditation, you're just holding a giant meditation bubble for them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Get your client situated, and you may want to, until you get really practiced with creating this space for them, have them just breathe 3 to 5 times deeply at the beginning of your intake so that you can set up your energetic space holding for them. And so here's how it goes. First step, you want to be nice and straight with your back away from the chair, feet flat on the floor, just like meditation. And while they're doing a couple of breathing exercises, if you're breathing, cleansing, deep breaths, you can align your hara, like I showed you in a previous video, and then also tune into that energy field around you. Remember how I told you it's like a golden bird cage? An eggshell shape kind of around you, 360 degrees. We've already done some cleansing with this and worked the chakras that are part of this energy field. This is the 7th level of your auric field, but you don't really have to get technical with it, but FYI, it's fascinating. It's amazing. So think of it as a glimmery, golden, strong but flexible bird cage. And you have control over expanding and contracting and keeping other people's energy out or welcoming and holding space for others with your energy field. And you're doing this unconsciously all the time, but now I'm inviting you to be more conscious about it, especially when you're working with a client. So align your hara, and then imagine that golden bird cage around you. And we're going to pretend like it's a beach ball. And I want you to, from your core, just expand, push, open up, inflate, whatever words work for you, 360 degrees, this magic beach ball. And it should expand enough to include your client. And once you get practice at this, you can kind of just be like, boom, and like expand and hold. But at first, you're going to have to work on just kind of pushing it, and you might not, when you first try this, you might not be able to push it out very far, especially if you are like the crab apple personality type that has really tight boundaries. If you're the shooting star flower personality type, you may have no idea where your boundary is. If you're the willow personality type, this might be super easy for you. You do this all the time. So depending on your personal energy type, you are going to have a little bit of ease or difficulty with this. It just takes practice. And so, boom, expand your field, set it, and intend to hold it. Now at this point, you can say to your client, okay, what's up for you today? Or you can walk them through the client intake form that I've also given you as a resource. And as you do this, don't feel like you need to interrogate them line by line. Just gently guide them and say, how's your sleep going? Tell me about your diet. Tell me about your exercise, and just get some general baselines of where they are with things. You don't have to be a nutritionist or an exercise expert. Just get them talking about what they're doing for themselves and how they are. They may have a big issue that they're coming in with, how somebody like pissed them off or something. But actually, you do not need to go into detail. And at this point of the intake, you do not need to give them advice. You do not need to solve the problem for them. You're just listening and taking some easy notes. This isn't like a police interrogation. This is like a gentle, friendly conversation. But you actually are doing more listening than talking. That's very, very important. And so set that big energy bird cage around both of you so that it's safe space. And the less you say, the less you interact, the more they will talk about stuff. And the safer they will feel because you're not jumping in with your own stories or telling them how it should be. Just let them talk. And now this should take maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you can say, okay, I think I have enough here for today. And then you can move them into understanding more about their energy pattern, their flower personality pattern that I showed you in lesson 4. And then once they understand a little bit about that, they may not understand all of it, but they'll start to get it because I've simplified it enough, hopefully, that you can share that with them. And then you can show them, based on their flower personality type, some great exercises to work with that dynamic so that they can have something productive moving into, the rest of their day, right? So that they know, okay, here's an energetic thing that I can do. Here's a mantra that I can say. And after that, then in the next lesson, we're going to talk about how to wrap up the session and prescribe the flower essences and take payment and all that good stuff. So once the intake part is over, you can kind of drop that holding the presence feeling because it can be a little intense to try to hold that for a really long time. 5 to 10 minutes is enough to facilitate them giving you enough information so that you can assess the situation and give them some really practical advice and a great flower essence blend. If when they're finished and you're done with the intake, you're done with the session and you send them on home, if you feel like you're stressed out or agitated or drained in some way, it probably means that you were not having a proper boundary and a little too involved personally with what was going on with them. Ask me questions about this in your homework. It's usually nothing more than a little self-care can do. So when you're finished with the session and they go off, you want to clear your energy field with the cleansing exercise that I gave you before and send them, some really great, vibes, and wash your hands maybe, or do some other energetic cleansing. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next session. But just remember, it's your job to make them feel safe and comfortable and to just listen. It might be hard at first to not want to jump in and interject, but actually it becomes very, very, very easy, and you'll be so surprised at how much information you get out of your client when you can just hold space for them. And I encourage you to do this first up probably with friends and family, like at dinner or when a friend is, kind of telling you about their day, or when your mate comes home. Just sit in presence and see how that changes the interaction. And watch for your own tendencies to want to fix or to want to distract or to space off or something. Stay present and grounded, and you'll have a really awesome interaction with your client and be able to give them really practical feedback. Until next time, be well and do good for yourself so that you can do good for your clients.